Hey, what's up guys, TechTine here, and this is my Smartphone Awards Budget Edition. And each one of these phones is a phone that I have made a video or several videos on, and I've spent some time with all these devices. And I've almost also spent a terabyte of storage in making these videos. So for that, I do want to thank you all so much for watching. If you do enjoy my videos and you've supported me this past year, I definitely do appreciate you all for doing so. If you're new to the channel and this is your first video, consider subscribing. A lot of great content is coming really soon, and this is just one of them. This is just a way for me to wrap up the year. Now, this is gonna be my take on smartphone awards. Basically, I'm someone that has been reviewing budget phones, and that has been my main focus this past year. However, I did sort of change it up. I did look at the iPhone 17, which I know technically it's not really a budget smartphone, but it fits sort of my lineup because this is, you can think of this as like the base model of Apple phones, even though the iPhone 16e is supposed to be your base model. But let's just keep the 17 here. It looks nice. I'm not even going to change that. It might not get a lot of awards today, but it's going to be here. I think we need to talk about the best value. And when I mean best value, I don't necessarily mean the kind of cheapest, but I also don't mean the one that costs like $300 or $400. So I'm talking about phones that are under the $200 price point, and that goes to the Samsung Galaxy A16. So the Galaxy A16 essentially provides the basic phone that a lot of consumers would be happy getting. It lacks performance, however it makes up for it in its really nice OLED 90Hz display. And the design is sort of I guess you can call it boring, but for a phone that costs around $200, you really can't complain too much. It lacks performance, that is true. However, it makes up for it again in the display department. And that's why I think of this as a kind of a really good value for a phone that's under $200. You can get it unlocked, and it played a major role in Samsung sales this year. Now, the next category is the most improved category, and this honestly goes to the 2025 Motorola Moto Razr. And the reason this receives the most improved category, while they did not really change much from a design perspective, they did add this sort of vegan leather material on top of improving the hinge quite a bit. So the hinge from the previous generation, in my opinion, was not really a good one, and this time around they made some solid improvements. I'm not really 100% sold on flip devices, but for sort of an entry-level budget flip device, there's nothing like the 2025 Moto Razr. Now, it did start at $649, but the Motorola website is having some really great discounts on this device. So if you want to check it out, I'll leave a couple of affiliate links in sort of the video. I think that this would be a great option if you want to get yourself in the flip market. So this definitely gets my most improved award. So next in my Smartphone Awards Budget Edition is definitely the unrecognized, unnoticed, underrated device. And that easily goes to the Samsung Galaxy A26. Now, this is sort of the jet black model, and I guess this phone did go sort of unnoticed just because it really didn't bring too much to the table as far as differences between it and the Galaxy A36. And the difference in price is $100, but this is definitely a solid phone. It takes the same basic knowledge that the Galaxy A16 has and improves upon it. So it brings a sort of a little bit of a more modern design, something like the Galaxy A16 brought to the table. And overall, it's a decent phone. It did go unnoticed, but that also has to do with the fact that it was really late to launch in the United States. For a phone that's around $299, it's a really good pickup if you're in the market for a mid-range Samsung device. Okay, now I do want to speak on a category that I'm not really a big fan of, which is Bust of the Year. And this easily goes to the iPhone 16e. So this is supposedly Apple's way of launching a budget phone, which I get it. It is a budget phone, but it's not really a good value budget phone. It starts at $599, and a single camera, really? Small phone, boring design. It just didn't really bring too much to the table. You still get the notch on this display. I don't know. It seems like Apple didn't really put too much of thought into the iPhone 16e, but hey, that's just what they decided to do, and it definitely deserves Bust of the Year. So next in my Smartphone Awards budget edition is definitely something that needs to be talked about, and that is definitely the best camera. Now when I say best camera, we can easily pick the iPhone 17, but I don't know if I can consider this a budget phone, so I'm just going to leave it there. It's going to be sitting there. It does have the best camera out of all these, but it's not necessarily a budget phone. Let's pick a device that's under 700 bucks and provides a really solid camera. And in my opinion, the best smartphone camera under $700 is going to be the Galaxy S25 FE. And this is such a versatile phone with a really solid camera system. So it provides a triple camera setup, a telephoto sensor, ultra wide, and a main sensor. I have a full video dedicated on that, but the pictures that it takes are consistently good, and the video quality that comes out of this device is also really good. Now, is it worth the money? That's completely up to you. But what I'm telling you is that this definitely has the best sort of camera system out of the bunch. Okay, so next in my conversation, I guess we need to talk about a little bit of honorable mentions. And the honorable mentions here go to two phones. One is the 2025 Moto G Stylus 5G, and that's because this is definitely such a nice device. However, it's not really going to receive the credit that it deserves, and I think Motorola did make a lot of improvements on this device. They added a better camera sensor, a sort of slightly brighter display, a cleaner overall look from the previous generation. It still is very similar in design, but a overall much cleaner look, and you still get the stylus, which, I mean, not everyone's going to use it. It's there if you need it, and if you don't need it, you can just put it away. And it also provides wireless charging and some really fast charging speeds overall. The next phone that I want to talk about is the 2025 Moto G, and this to me is the runner-up for Bust of the Year. And that's because this phone, for $199 MSRP, it gave us a disappointing 720p display. The 2026 model is out, and surprisingly, you still get the same 720p display. But that's a conversation for another video. Let's just go ahead and put that down. Alright, so my next category is going to be the best performance category, and that easily goes to the OnePlus 13R. It provided us with last year flagship specs with lots of RAM, incredible battery life, a stellar performance all the way around, and it was consistently good, fast, and reliable when it comes to that. So this easily gets my performance award of the year, and it still falls under the budget lineup of devices. Now the OnePlus 15R is out. I'll try to get my hands on it, but we'll save that for a different video. So this phone here is definitely something worth looking at if you're looking strictly for performance. If you're a gamer and you don't want to spend $1,000+ on a phone, this is definitely something that I would recommend easily. Okay, so let's put it back down. So the next category is going to be the budget smartphone of the year. There were three options. And it was really close, but I decided to pick the most versatile option. So the three options were the OnePlus 13R. All right, so let's go ahead and put that here. The 2025 Moto Edge and the Samsung Galaxy S25 FE. So these were my three favorite ones. However, the most complete one out of the bunch is the Galaxy S25 FE. And this was really close, right? It was really close. I can't emphasize that enough. But overall, from a build quality to a camera quality to performance to display to everything that would make me happy with buying a budget phone, this checked out most of the boxes. So it definitely wins my smartphone pick of the year. The second place, if we were to put second places, would be the 2025 Moto Edge, with its kind of a edge design that still carries on to this day. The edges, you might like them or you might hate them, but it definitely brings in some solid features for a phone that now costs $449. Incredible value. Nearly complete phone. Overall, the 2025 Moto Edge is a phone that if you pick it up, you're not going to really have a lot to complain about. And of course, we talked about the OnePlus 13R with its great performance. However, it does have a sort of a letdown camera. I have a whole video dedicated for this phone. Okay, so let's put these phones down. With that being said, I do want to thank you all so much for watching. I have a lot of great content coming really soon, so stay tuned for that. A lot of great phones have been out this year.